absolutely wonderful HOCs.
Hello, class of 2018. How was your house day? Good. We are your head orientation counselors, and we are here to welcome you to Community Collage and the rest of orientation. We're all here to tell you a little bit about our experiences that we've had here at Carnegie Mellon for the 3 years that we've been here. And throughout this entire performance, you'll see everyone's stories presented in different ways, either through performance, speech, music, all of the above. But for now, we're here to try and impart some of the lessons that we've learned through our time.
Hey guys, my name is Tommy Sterling. I'm a fourth year architecture student, and I'm one of the head orientation counselors for the Hill with Steve Posey. Alright. So as the youngest person in my entire family, I've heard the phrase, "grow up, Tommy," more times than I care to count. I've heard it from my mom, my dad, my sisters, my grandparents, my cousins, my friends, and my neighbors, pretty much everyone. So it's no surprise that the day I found myself in your shoes, moving into college, I decided to finally take that advice to heart. The start of college is a clean slate, the likes of which most of us have never experienced outside of the first day of kindergarten. For me, moving to Pittsburgh was an opportunity to leave behind the old Tommy and start fresh with a new Tommy. I traded my SpongeBob memorabilia for drawings of Frank Lloyd Wright buildings. Instead of telling people I wanted to be a Disney Imagineer when I grew up, I told them I wanted to focus on residential architecture. After I graduated, I replaced my high fives with handshakes and decided right then and there that I would be a grown-up for the rest of my life. The biggest mistake I made coming into college was wasting the first part of my time here, taking myself too seriously, and trying to be something that I'm not. It's hard to be passionate about something when it feels forced, and it's even harder to be happy when you feel like you always have to have your guard up. I slowly got over my grown-up phase because I realized in order to be happy and successful, I couldn't choose who I wanted to be. The most important lesson that I've learned is that we all need to remember who we are and where we come from, because at the end of the day, that's what will get us to where we need to be. While I've definitely grown a lot in my 3 years at Carnegie Mellon, I've been careful to always hold on to who I am and remember all the things that got me here. Recognizing my own unique strengths, bizarre interests, and quirky hobbies has led me to accomplish things I never imagined I would be doing. I may not be an Imagineer yet, but starting this semester, I'll be teaching a course on theme park design. And while I don't watch SpongeBob quite as often as I used to, my boxed collection of seasons 1 through 3 is never too far away. Sometimes the best adventures are the ones that make us feel like a kid again.
What's up, everyone? My name is Anthony Corletti. I'm a senior information systems major, and I'm the head orientation counselor for Who's House? That's what I'm talking about. So the first thing I want to ask you guys is, how's everyone feeling tonight? This is a big class. I want to hear this 10 scream. Come on, 2018 plus, let me hear. That sounds awesome. And now I want each and every one of you to think about something. About a time you've been nervous. Could have been a heart test, sporting event, family member passing. If you've experienced that before, please raise your hand. Raise them high. Now everyone look around. Now look up on the stage, because I feel the same way. And for me, I'm nervous about I don't know what I want to do after I graduate, and I'm a senior. So what I like to call my adventure here is getting over the big plaid brick wall, because for me, I've always focused on getting over that wall, not the challenges that I've faced getting over it. And really, that's where I think we grow as a person. And as we experience those challenges, especially here, it's not like in the real world, because we have the amazing community that Carnegie Mellon has to offer. People support you, professors, friends, like other mentors that you'll meet in organizations that you want to join, and things like that. Without that support, I would have never, ever imagined, picturing myself standing on this stage, being a TA for a class, heck, joining a fraternity, and giving up on passions I once had before I came to school. It truly is amazing, an amazing place. And every single one of you should be so proud of the company you have to spend the however many years you have here. You should be proud of that and feel so safe. Sometimes the most unexpected things happen to us. And what's important is that we shouldn't resist it. because it's not natural for humans to resist change. And that's what I've learned, and I'm excited to see what awaits me after my brick wall here. And I have one more question for you guys. Who feels like they're at home? Look around for a second. And now who doesn't feel like they're home yet? Come on, you can be honest. I really want you guys to give this place a shot to make it your home this week. I believe in you. I know you can do it. I'm looking forward to everything this class has to offer. Welcome and good luck.
Hi, my name is Gabby Pascuzzi. I'm a senior majoring in professional writing and linguistics, and I'm the HOC for Donner House. So I'm going to tell you about an adventure I took recently. It was to the DMV. For those of you not from the United States, like myself, that is where you go and get your driver's license. It's a great place. Now, for most American teenagers, this rite of passage happens at about the age of 16. For me, this happened this past summer at the age of 21, because I'm from Manila, Philippines, which is a big city. I just never got around to getting my driver's license. I know a lot of city people haven't either. So I did pass my test, and I was sitting and answering, okay, I lied, it was my learner's permit, but I was sitting and answering all the identifying questions, and so it was pretty simple. Female, brown eyes, 5'4", and then she asks, what is your race? And my mom is Filipino, and my father is Italian-American, so I'm pretty good at math, so I know that I'm 50% Asian and 50% Caucasian. So I answer that. And the nice lady says, you can only choose one. And apparently in Florida, you can only choose one. So I had to choose. And this isn't an issue about race here, but I wanted to talk about having to choose between two parts of yourself. It didn't make sense that my identification card that's supposed to identify me was not identifying all parts of myself. So here at Carnegie Mellon, you won't be forced to choose what part of your identity you want to portray. If you consider yourself 50% computer programmer, 25% artist, and 25% rugby enthusiast, you can be all of those things. You can tick as many boxes as you want. So that is part of your adventure. In order to embark on your journey, you need to accept and be proud of who you are, whatever the different percentages of yourself may be made of. In order to be the hero of your own adventure story, you need to be able to tick multiple boxes. If we were all 100% something, anything, swimmer, dancer, or engineer, we would only be able to go down one straight path on our journey. But we all know the journey is never one straight path. So if you think you're 100% something, you're not. I encourage you to dig deeper and find out, what are you really? You may not know what the percentages are, but I bet you can find that 1% or 5%, no matter how small it is, of you that is passionate about something other than what you think your 100% is. And I doubt any of you fit into just one checkbox. And if you don't know what those 1% or 5% or whatever it may be are right now, that's fine. On your adventure, you'll realize it, and maybe those little parts of you will grow into an even bigger passion. So I want you to push yourself to find percents of yourself that love other things. And that doesn't mean losing sight of who you are just for the sake of checking every single box possible. It just means that you have that option. It's there for you. Because this is not the DMV, this is Carnegie Mellon, and you don't have to choose.
Hello, my name is Evan Starkweather, and I am the head orientation counselor for the residents on 5th. I am a senior chemical engineer with a business minor. I'm a theater enthusiast. I did a synthetic biology competition once, and sometimes I like to dance. So I'm not really sure who to tell you I am, but I would like to tell you about something very important that I've learned. And that's about how to deal with the unexpected. There have been plenty of times here at Carnegie Mellon where my plans haven't quite gone as I've expected. I've woken up late for exams, I've forgotten to do homework assignments. Sophomore year, I even had my own little personal holiday that happened every week that I like to call Hot Mess Monday. It was really fun. You should try to celebrate it sometime, or not, your choice. But really what I want to talk about is my reaction to getting caught in the rain. So, coming here, I found myself getting caught in the rain without an umbrella fairly frequently. One of the reasons for this is because, well, I didn't carry an umbrella with me because I was used to driving places. And, well, in Pittsburgh, it rains a lot. As you might find out this week, but fingers crossed, hopefully not. Anyway, in any of these situations, when I'm walking across campus, slowly getting drenched, I would look around and see that a lot of people had sort of different reactions. Most people would either go as quickly to the nearest building, or they would pull out an umbrella and shelter themselves if they were a little bit better at planning than myself. But me, I would sort of just walk around and slowly start to giggle. Just kind of like laughing at my situation, even though I was getting kind of uncomfortable, sort of soaking down to my skin, but I just sort of laugh. And I think this is something that I've developed throughout the years that is incredibly important. Now, my message is not that umbrellas suck and pneumonia is really cool, because that's a terrible message. But rather, in any adventure, something will go wrong. The unexpected will happen and you may get caught in the rain. There's really nothing you can do about that. But what you can control is how you respond. You can let the unexpected trip you up, knock you off course, ruin your day and your sweater, or you can choose to take it in stride. Accept the circumstances and just keep on smiling. You don't necessarily have to verbally giggle like I do, but having a good sense of humor is essential, especially at a place like Carnegie Mellon where things don't go as planned almost as frequently as it rains. Now, this isn't to say that you should just accept all of the bad things that happen to you in life, especially if they repeat. For example, now that I understand Pittsburgh weather and how rain works, I check the weather forecast, and if it's supposed to rain that day, I put an umbrella in my bag, and then at least I have the option to choose whether or not I'm going to giggle through the rain. So in essence, what I'm saying is you need to accept the unexpected in the moment, and then plan for it in the future. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Natalie Chinangeli. I'm a senior majoring in Global Studies and Hispanic Studies, and I'm the HOC for Morwood E-Tower. Thank you guys. So I'm from the Pittsburgh area. I grew up 13 miles away from this campus, and my mom actually has worked here her whole life. So I grew up going to many Take Your Daughters to Work days, exploring really cool stuff like costume design and architecture and things very, very far from what I do now. But, so I always knew about CMU. I knew the campus. My family loves the city. I thought I knew everything about what this place was. So I never really thought about coming here to go to college. And then all of a sudden I was a junior in high school, and people, my parents' friends, and they started looking at me and saying, "Oh, your mom works at CMU. You're gonna go there, right?" And I would just say, "Oh, we'll see," and just trail off. But I'm here and I'm standing in front of you and I'm about to be a senior. So basically what I've learned in my time here is that adventure has absolutely nothing to do with where you are. When we think about adventure, we think about going somewhere far away that we've never been, somewhere exotic. And it's even on our logos. We have the Scotty and a plane. But what I've learned is that adventure is wherever you are. In my time at CMU, I've lived in a different city, traveled to a different country, and every single day fallen more in love with the people in the city of Pittsburgh, and I've only had those chances because I came to Carnegie Mellon. Yeah, sure, I'm in a place that I knew and loved, that I already knew and loved, but this place has given me so much more. And I just encourage all of you to take every chance you have here. Challenge yourself, take risks, meet new people, really put yourself out there, because that's where adventure is. Adventure is in your seats right now where you are. It's in your classrooms, it's in the professors you're gonna meet, it's in the people you're gonna meet this week, continue to meet in 4 years, and it's when you leave, when you graduate with your cap and gown and when you leave. So don't worry about where you are, worry about what you can do with where you are, because adventure is exactly here.
Hi, my name is Harley Montano. I'm a senior chemical engineering major with Evan, and I'm also the Stever head orientation counselor. So I want to start out my little story or adventure by saying that as a kid, I never really traveled all that much. This wasn't a great thing, but it wasn't a bad thing. It just was what it was. I grew up in New Jersey and did the usual New Jersey things that really any Italian and Jewish kid from there got to do. I ate lots of pizza, I ate lots of bagels, I went to New York City a lot, and of course I made my routine visits to the Jersey Shore. So as far as I knew, New Jersey was home and I loved it. Let's see, about 3 years ago I went to Carnegie Mellon to study chemical engineering and, solve all the world's problems. But really, for me, Pittsburgh wasn't like the reason I came here. It was, to be a chemical engineering major. So Pittsburgh was more of just a venue for my education at the time and nothing really more. But then after like 2 years, something unexpected started to happen. So I was spending a summer in Houston, Texas, which happens a lot if you're a chemical engineering major. And like I said, something unexpected started to happen. Basically what would happen was, anytime I saw someone from Pittsburgh or met someone from Pittsburgh, I got really, really excited. I wanted to talk to them just about Pittsburgh, about Carnegie Mellon, and whether they were a Tartan or not, I just wanted to talk about Pittsburgh. This was really cool, but it didn't happen all too often in Houston because, there's casual 1,500 miles between here and there, but that's okay. If we fast forward a year, I was spending my summer in Fairfax, Virginia, and I found Pittsburghers a lot. Anytime I saw a bumper sticker, a Pittsburgh t-shirt, or just black and yellow somewhat near each other, my Pittsburgh senses definitely started to go off. If you don't believe me, consider this. This summer, I saw a welcome mat that had a Steelers logo on it next door to my apartment, and I once or twice may or may not have waited outside his apartment when I heard him coming out, just to have a conversation. Now, while that was one of the more awkward conversations I've ever had, it was something really cool because we just talked about Pittsburgh, and even though I was a creepy neighbor, and we did, it was great. Now, I don't recommend, knocking on the door of every Steelers or Penguins fan you encounter throughout your life, but I will say that I've learned quite a few things from talking to people about Pittsburgh. One of the things I did learn is a quick one, but something I think is very important. People from Pittsburgh really respect and appreciate everything we do at Carnegie Mellon. And I actually found this to be pretty neat. It's awesome when you tell someone from Pittsburgh that you go to Carnegie Mellon and all they really respond with is wow, or good for you. Now, this isn't something I necessarily think we should look for, but I think it really says something about what we add to the city as an institution of learning, creativity, and passion. My second sort of takeaway from this is more of a big picture lesson. Remember when I said I was from New Jersey and I was basically destined to live amongst the Jersey Shore crew or the housewives of New Jersey for my entire life? I realized something a couple months ago that this might not be the case. Even though I was in New Jersey my whole life and I don't even own a passport still, I've never even left the country, I'm realizing now that this doesn't mean anything about what my future holds. When I was a first year, I would have called you crazy if you told me I'd be spending a summer in Houston, Texas, something that seemed like a faraway make-believe land where people just wore boots. It's a great place and I really liked it. But this is really great. I just wanted to say that this is a feeling for me that's really resonated, and I think that although this is my last year of college, and I'm leaving here in May, unfortunately, I would definitely not say that my CMU adventure is about to end. In fact, I'm willing to bet it's just begun.
What up, class of 2018 plus? My name is Steve Posney. I am a senior computer science major, and I'm the other HOC for the Hill. All right, so 7 years ago, you could have asked me the question, what do you want to do with your life? And I had a perfectly rehearsed answer. I want to study computer science. I want to go to Carnegie Mellon to do it. I want to work at Google or Facebook or Apple or one of those other big tech giants. and I want to make a lot of money. And that's the truth, especially that last point. In 9th grade, instead of taking those career interest inventory tests that everybody took, I just went onto Google, I searched which careers have the highest salaries, saw computer scientist on the list, and thought to myself, looks like I can make a lot of money someday by pressing Control-Alt-Delete and restarting the computer. So, right there and then, I mapped out my life, complete with the internships along the way, or let's call them detours, along with the electives I might be willing to take. We'll call them roadblocks. But continuing the trip analogy, when you're taking a trip, does everything happen the way it's supposed to? There's always that risk of a freak flat tire, that construction that sets your ETA back by a half hour. And always, without fail, as soon as you pass a rest stop, your sister from the back seat decides to announce that she has to pee right this second. It happens every time, trust me. But really, coming into college, I thought I liked the program, but over the past 3 years, I've slowly grown more and more disillusioned with the idea of myself entering the real world, sitting in a chair for 40 hours a week, staring at a screen with different colored words, trying to figure out how they all go together to make Tetris. And while computer science is infinitely cooler than the way I just described it, true computer science, the math, the logic, it was never really a passion of mine. What I found my passions to be are solving problems, helping other people, and running around like a chicken with its head cut off, trying desperately to keep track of everything going on in my hectic life. And trust me again when I say that here at Carnegie Mellon, I have had ample opportunities to explore all of those passions. I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's okay to put away that roadmap, to turn off that GPS. Take that back road, that acting class if you're an engineer, or that programming class if you're a design major. It's okay to take the scenic route, or to get lost and find a new path. Make this adventure that you're all about to embark on one that you're going to remember, not because you did it exactly how you wanted to, but because you found yourself along the way. Thank you, and welcome again to the class of 2018 plus.
Let your adventure begin!
Hi, class of 2018 plus. My name is Martha, and I'm the co-choreographer for the Spirit Dance Crew. We've put together a hip-hop, dancehall fusion dance piece, so we hope you enjoy it.
It's going, I'm coming, step out in a minute, blah, blah, and I'm in, right, so welcome class of 2018 plus to an adventure of a lifetime. I am Nadili Nunez, a senior decision science major here at CMU, and I want to offer you some insight on a rewarding journey you're embarking on right now by sharing a little bit of my own. I'm a first-generation immigrant. Born in Miami, raised in Dominican Republic until I was 5, and then living in Harlem, New York until coming to CMU exposed me to all kinds of people. My first elementary school was 87% African American. My second was 90% Caucasian. My middle school was 97% Hispanic, and my high school was one of the most diverse high schools in the city. I got to build relationships with people across multiple races and culture. I was asked to talk about my culture experience here at CMU as una mujer latina, a Latin woman. But to me, I arrived to my big blue home of Donner House with being Hispanic as just part of the bigger picture of who I am. If there's anything I learned about being part of the schools aforementioned, is that while culture and race is an integral part of an individual, what differentiates us is our socioeconomic class. Simply put, the experiences that have been very much part of shaping who you are today have a lot to do with the socioeconomic class you were born in, come from, have grown out of, or what have you. It's the truth, and let's face it. You may be sitting next to someone that has 2 vacation homes, or next to someone who shared a small apartment with parents, grandma, and 3 siblings until 2 days ago. The conversation is far deeper and complex than what I'm describing. We have the inclination of not mentioning or admitting where we stand, but by not at least acknowledging it, we do ourselves a disservice. Please don't misunderstand. This isn't meant to create a game of what you have that I don't. But instead of seeing socioeconomic class as a separator, a classifier, I challenge you to engage in it directly. Break its walls. Listen to the story of the individual sharing this campus with you. Everyone has gone through their own hardships and their own discoveries. During my time here at CMU, I've been part of the ballroom dance competition team, the pre-law society, and I like to go salsa dancing during my free time. Let me know if you want to learn. For those familiar with TED Talks, I was part of CMU's independently organized TEDx CMU event for 2 years as head of logistics and then president. Both years I got to know bold, innovative thinkers like the CEO of 4 Moms, Rob Daly, the CEO of One Laptop Per Child, Rodrigo Arboleda, and medical director of the Red Bull Stratus Project, John Clark. But I have to tell you, we hold an annual student speaker competition where the winner gets the opportunity to speak alongside people like the ones I mentioned. In the past 2 years, I've heard 123 talks about the students here, about what students here have accomplished and are accomplishing every day. It didn't take long to realize how inspired I am by CMU students. I'm inspired by you. So to wrap this up, it's easy to connect with people like you. Challenge yourself to engage and learn from those unlike you. And remember that you are here because you bring something to the table that is essential to the character and diversity of this campus. You will find that CMU is here to push you to discover things about yourself you didn't know before. Thank you.
In the moment, my decision to continue at Carnegie Mellon to study a master's in urban design seems like a natural transition from architecture. But looking back at the past 3 years, the path couldn't have been more winding. My name is Andrea, and I'm a double major in architecture and global studies. But before coming to CMU, some days I woke up wanting to be a marine biologist, and other days I woke up wanting to be a dentist. Then, once I decided to study architecture at CMU, I had a lot of days that, especially after long nights after studio, I was 100% sure that I didn't want to be an architect. but that same indecision or curiosity or whatever you want to call it was one of my biggest adventures at CMU. I ventured away from my studio desk and participated in the world beyond that CMU has to offer. As hard as it was to pull away from my projects that were never quite perfect, taking classes outside of architecture and exploring Pittsburgh taught me so much about myself, both professionally and personally. I never would have imagined that traveling to Nicaragua would spark an interest in urban planning, or that a class on sustainable social change would lead me to an internship in community development here in Pittsburgh. While your time here may be different than mine in that you won't be at a studio desk, you might be at a computer lab, or at a chemistry lab, or in the library, but don't be afraid to make your CMU adventure one of exploring new things. If you're like me, it will reaffirm what you know you love and allow you to discover something about yourself you would have never imagined.
When I first found acapella at CMU, I was really amazed because there's so much musical skill here. But after that fact started to sink in, I was amazed again because the same awesome musicians are so accessible. It's really a community where everybody's here because of their love of making music. And they've helped me so much to grow as a singer, a musician, a performer, and a person. And I think that after having been here for some time, you come to realize that that's the CMU way. I'm really proud, I'm really grateful to be part of it.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. The sunshine, she's here, you can take a break now. 'Cause I'm a hot air balloon, I can go to space with the air like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. And clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you wanna do. So come down, you stop and listen down. And give me all you got, don't hold back now. I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. No offense to you, don't waste your time. Here's why, because I'm clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you wanna do now. Bring me down, can't nothing bring me down. Oh, my love is too high. Bring me down, can't nothing bring me down. Let me tell you now. Bring me down, can't nothing bring me down. Oh, my level's too high. Bring me down, can't nothing bring me down. I said, clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you wanna do.
Fear, success, introverted, alone, extroverted, passionate, driven, unfulfilled. Hi,
My name is Nate Bertoni, and I am currently a junior studying scenic design in the class of 2016. Before I tell you any more about myself, I'd like to ask you all a question, and please be honest. Raise your hand if you feel this way. How many of you out there right now are scared to be starting your college career at Carnegie Mellon University? For those of you who are, and those of you who aren't willing to admit it just yet, I want you to know something. I was, and still am, terrified to be a student at one of the most prestigious universities in the country. 3 days before decisions were due to Carnegie Mellon University, I had still yet to visit this campus despite being accepted months earlier. Why? I had fallen in love with Cincinnati Conservatory of Music for seemingly good reasons. I visited CCM and stayed on the campus for a week with a high school friend of mine. Over that week, I made friends with a lot of his classmates and felt right at home. My gut reaction was to go to a school that I was already comfortable at. Excuse me. Just days before decisions were due, my mother and father said something to me. They said, "Nate, you have the opportunity to make a dream become a reality. You need to at least visit this campus before you throw your opportunity away." 2 days later, I was on a plane with my father to Pittsburgh. We stepped off the 28X on the corner of Forbes and Morewood, and in an instant, I was shaking inside and out. Now, my father was a football player and a football coach, and he's one of the strongest people I know. I could not let my father see that I was truly terrified. I attended my first college class, and the professor had left, and I was left with the freshmen in the studio. And the first and last thing I so vividly remember being told is, "Don't ever come here. You will hate your life." I left that studio, and 2 hours later I boarded a plane towards Boston thinking I would never return here. I cannot tell you exactly what it was about Carnegie Mellon that terrified me, but what I can tell you is that this is what has brought me to where I am today. I sat at home with every intention of sending in my deposit to Cincinnati. I couldn't help but remember the chill that ran through my body when I stepped on this campus. I laid in my bed focusing on my breathing and hoping and wishing that my fears would disappear. I ended up asking myself one of the most difficult questions. Who are you now, and who do you want to become? In 2 hours' time, I had realized that if I wanted to become a better person, I needed to run towards the thing that scared me the most, Carnegie Mellon. I'm not here today to tell you that running towards your fears is the correct way to live life, because I don't believe there is one way to be successful in life. However, I am here today to tell you how Carnegie Mellon has changed who I am, how I interact with the world, and how I breathe the air around me. I now live by the motto, if your dreams don't scare you, they aren't big enough. While someday this fear cripples me so much so that I cannot focus on my work. Most days it's a fear that inspires me beyond compare. A fear that inspires me and lights a fire inside of me and makes me yearn for the things that I never once thought were possible. By accepting your role as a Carnegie Mellon student, I want to ask you to do one thing that I did when I arrived on this campus my freshman year. Eliminate the words, "I can't," and "I'll start tomorrow." We all have a limited time on this campus, and believe me when I say I have blinked my eyes and I'm now a junior here. Set your sights on something that you want to achieve, and you will achieve it. Since accepting my fear of CMU, I attempt to face a new fear every week. One of my biggest fears before coming to CMU was the fear of being rejected. Upon meeting me, most of you would think that I'm an extremely extroverted person. But to be honest, I have always been an introverted person behind an extroverted mask. However, my time at Carnegie Mellon has begun to change that. In my time here, I have made friends and lost them. I have fallen in love and let it slip away. I have opened myself up and been rejected. This fear of rejection, though, can only be faced by allowing people to access your heart first. An orientation is a whirlwind of a week where you may think that you have found your friends, for the next 4 years. But for me, the friends that I have found have taken me months and months to find. This may sound strange, but I keep note of the people that I meet on a daily basis, and when I look back, it's incredible to see how every action and interaction can completely change the course of your life. At Carnegie Mellon, I have learned that I had to be comfortable with change. You may have an image like I once did of exactly who you want to become. But unaware of where our future will take us, we move forward. But we can only understand the future by connecting our past. Some people believe that life is an adventure towards finding yourselves. But I believe that life is an adventure towards creating yourself. If you haven't already, I challenge you to look at life in a similar light and no longer search for who you are. But begin now as you begin your journey here at Carnegie Mellon and create the you that you want to become. It took me almost all of my sophomore year to realize that no matter how many people doubted me, no matter how many people told me that I couldn't succeed or that I was not good enough, if you set your mind on what you want to achieve, absolutely no one can separate you from your dreams. And when you run towards those goals, those fears, I want you to know that someone on this campus believes in you. And you may find that someone sitting next to you today, or it may take you weeks and months to find someone that you think believes in you. But I stand here today to assure you that I believe that each of you in the class of 2018 plus will make a difference. You will make a difference, and that exactly is what makes you a Carnegie Mellon student. Welcome to the class of 2018 plus.
In the moment, if I were to lay a finger on what I love the most about this place it's just about how passionate everyone is. Like my passion. Since I came here, I realized I want to use my privilege, this Carnegie Mellon education, to make the world a better place. Since I came to that realization, I've participated in research with TechBridge World, and I developed technology for blind people. And I feel that this is something that is truly integral to the essence of this place. It runs in this place's veins. But you see, there's a catch. Passion has also blindsided me. The same passion that can keep me up all night can help me sometimes develop an unhealthy sense of tunnel vision. What this means is that sleep is the first thing to go out the window, a healthy diet the second. It's just a self-destructive pattern that can very easily develop and get really bad. And so, over the last year, I decided that I wanted to make a difference to myself. I changed the way I dealt with things. I was late for a few classes because I wanted to go for a run in Shenley. I started cooking food for myself, actual proper dinners, anything and everything that let me step away from the moment to be with myself. Because not only did I get to discover and explore new passions, but it helped me be a much more fulfilled student, but also a more fulfilled human being. But really, when I think about it, it all comes full circle. My body is the vessel for my soul, and my soul is the vessel for my passions. What this means is that taking care of myself just lets me pick the brains of the people around me and be the best that I can be. Class of 2018 plus, your adventure has just begun. Look after yourselves and each other along the way. I guarantee you the way you approach personal wellness will play a pivotal role in your Carnegie Mellon experience.
Good afternoon. Our names are Katie Bradford, Jackie Lee, and Joel Goodlow, and we wanted to introduce you to Dancer Symposium. Dancer Symposium is the largest dance organization on campus, and we welcome the most experienced dancers who have been dancing for their whole lives to those who just love to groove to the music in the car.
It's where our adventures began, nurturing our individual growth while we found ourselves and explored who we want to be here at Carnegie Mellon. Dancer Symposium has two smaller organizations that you will see today. Behind you is Infra Dance Company, a contemporary group, and later on tonight you will see Soul Styles, a hip hop group.
We wish you the best of luck here at Carnegie Mellon, and we encourage you to take advantage of every opportunity that gets put in front of you, whether that be auditioning for one of our ensembles, going to the activities fair, just seeing what's out there as far as student organizations are concerned. As it has been said before and will be said again, your adventure begins here. And so now, members of the Infra Dance Company.
Andy Warhol once said, "You need to let the little things in life that ordinarily bore you suddenly thrill you." Hey everybody, my name is Kevin Donahue, and as you may be able to see, I am an OC for Steve Rouse. Where you at? I was approached about a month ago with this amazing opportunity to tell you my story today. Words cannot describe how difficult it was to put 21 years of growth, thoughts, and adventures into just a few minutes. I arrived at Carnegie Mellon as an NCAA athlete, as a football player. Prior to this, in my all-boys high school, I excelled both on and off the field as I scored points, achieved high grades, and had numerous friends. I was the man. When it came time to graduate, I should have felt sure, as if I was well equipped to face the unknown college world. I wasn't. In my 4 years of high school, I was also questioning my sexuality every day. That being said, I'm in front of you to tell you that my experience has really been quite the adventure. An adventure that's had its fair share of dark moments that can only be denoted with a lot of self-inflicted pain. Nonetheless, I am here today, and I am fairly certain that I am too happy for words to express. The reason being, the little things that got me through each day. The end of my first year at CMU marks the first time I officially came out to someone. This event came after months of an on and off fling I had with another floor mate and months of bad decisions and regrets. This came after a moment, probably the only moment in which I was a mere step away from rock bottom. I had finally found the opportunity to explore my sexuality and garner the attention of another guy. Yet I also had to be the stereotypical football player to all those around me.
It became more and more challenging, but I needed to make sure no one could ever find out that I liked boys. I spent most of my energy and enthusiasm on a charade that was damaging all the things that I was always known to be. A goofy, kind-hearted dance machine. Spirit, I'm coming for you. Who would always make the time to lie down on a grass field and just appreciate what was above. How could I lose sight of the things that made me so happy? My second year was not an easy year. I began to head down a darker path as the football situation became even more confusing. I found myself feeling more different every day from the rest of the guys. They were my boys, but my mind grew even more conflicted. Things with the boy from my first year became more unsettling as well. I said I had feelings for him. He did not react the same way, as he was still unsure of his sexual orientation himself. In all this madness, I realize now that I was focused on the bigger things, like a potential relationship or whether I could last 2 more years on the football team. I needed to start putting myself first. The little things needed to be my big things. I needed to start loving myself. That year, I quit the football team and looked to meet new people outside of sports. These were people with whom I started to feel comfortable being myself with. They accepted me right off the bat for being gay. People who brought some little things back into my life, such as family dinner. I was beginning to feel like my goofy self again. I spent my junior year as a proud gay male who managed to get his vices in check. My close football friends all know now and have been nothing but completely supportive of me. I even developed a serious relationship with a boy who quite simply showed me how easy it is to love myself and be proud of who I am. Whether it is a simple pinch to remind me he's there, or a relaxing 5 minutes on a swing set in the middle of a park, he is someone that I love to spend time with, and it's just so simple. Now that you've heard a little bit about me, I challenge everybody out there to stop, take a breath, and make sure you make it a point to appreciate a little thing every day. Send a text to a friend wishing them a good morning, jump in a puddle, get lost exploring. I did that today with Seaverhouse. I ran to catch a bus. Never doing that again. The little things in life are easy to find, but you have to make the most of them, as it is more than okay to let yourself appreciate something that can be seen as so trivial. Carnegie Mellon University is an adventure. These years will be some of the best years of your life. Don't get caught up in all these outside pressures that society has instilled in your mind. You are your own person, and it's up to you to find that happiness. If you're ever down on yourself or just simply unsure, there will be people all around you who are willing to listen, including myself. I let myself get caught up in my own mind, and it damaged myself and other people. But I am so happy to be here today as a proud gay male, as a proud CMU student, but really, I'm so blessed to tell you all today that I am just happy to be Kevin again. Thank you.
In the moment. Hi everyone, my name is Benet. I'm a senior studying material science engineering and engineering and public policy. And I do a lot of work with the environmental groups on campus. I was born in Cameroon at a politically unstable time, and a defining moment in my life was moving from Cameroon to the US. Because of this transition, a lot of my childhood was spent learning how to conserve resources and do with less while prioritizing the future well-being. In what I consider to be a wasteful society, these experiences definitely translated into a desire to preserve our natural resources and focus my studies on this passion. So in telling you this abbreviated version of my story, I remind you that CMU is not just where your adventure begins. Don't get me wrong, these 4 years will be quite an adventure, but it's all a part of the greater adventure that is your life. I hope that you will draw on all of your previous adventures to find what your passion truly is, to find what makes you happy to get up every day, and to make the most of these 4 years.
Hey everyone, we are the freestylers section of Soul Styles, one of the dance crews on campus. And every time we dance, you know, we take an adventure and we look into ourselves and the music to really express ourselves. And we use that music for an outlet. We love what we do, and we hope you do too.
Above like a mountain. You ain't making no noise. Get ready, turn up with the big boys. Live fast, die young, that's my choice. Get money like an we can love like the whip. Make the money, make the grip. I'll be stunning with my click. Get it faded till we trip. Man, I love to get on. I love to get too on. When the drink be too strong. When the tree be way too strong. Get it, turn it, blow it on until I can't even think no more. Get ready to go down, then go more down, then we can keep it lit. Let's roll, let's roll.
Give that to the people, spreading the crash, the country. Labels out here, now they can't tell me nothing. But give it to the people, spread it across the country. Here we go back, this is the moment, tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over, so we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us. Here we go back, this is the moment, tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over, so we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us. The beat go hard though. Why you doing that? The beat go hard though.
I've been guarding my clover for over a week, getting laughed at for thinking a dust speck can speak. Well, let them all laugh. I'll try not to mind. For I have found something that they'll never find. There are secrets on a leaf, in the water, in the air, hidden planets, tiny worlds, all invisible. Not a person seems to know, not a person seems to care. There's no one who believes the things I say. Well, I'm fairly certain at one time or other, great thinkers all feel this way. I'm alone in the universe, so alone in the universe. I found magic, but they don't see it. They all call me a lunatic. Okay, call me a lunatic. If I stand on my own, so be it. 'Cause I have wings. Yes, I can fly around the moon and far beyond the sky. And someday soon, I know there you'll
voice in the universe, one true friend in the universe, who believes in me.
I'm alone in the universe, so alone in the universe. My own planets and stars are glowing.
Alone in the universe.
No one notices anything. Not one person is listening. They don't have any way of knowing.
Nobody knows that I have wings. Yes, I can fly around the moon and far beyond the sky. And someday soon you will hear my plea. One small voice in the universe.
One true friend in the universe. Please believe in me.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Who's there?
It's me, Jojo, the mayor's son.
I'm Horton, the elephant.
Are you real? Are you just a very large think?
I'm real, all right. I'd stake that in ink.
In my thinks, I imagine a lot of strange things. And I go to strange places as if I had wings. I love a good think.
Well, for me, that goes double.
Sometimes my thinks get me in trouble.
When you think, do you dream?
In bright colors.
Me too. And I go to strange places like Sala Saloo.
When you think, do you think you can fly to the stars?
Oh, little friend, no one else can have thinks such as ours. Yes, I have wings, and I can fly around the moon and far beyond the sky. You called my name and you set me free. One small voice in the universe.
One true friend in the universe. Who believes in me?
Good night, Jojo.
Good night, Horton. See you in Sala Saloo.
Thank you so much. My name is Taylor Raleigh. This is Nate San.
And I'm Gail.
I'm a vocal performance major with a double major in French and Francophone studies and a minor in European studies.
And I'm a computer science major with a minor in human-computer interaction.
And it was our love and passion for musical theater that brought us together.
We decided to sing Alone in the Universe from Seussical the Musical because we felt it kind of represents the Carnegie Mellon community.
No matter how alone or isolated you may feel at one time, just know that you're a part of a community that's here to support you, and you always will have something in common.
No matter what, you can always find common ground, from the smallest to small
to the tallest of all. Thanks.
Hi everybody, my name is Siriana Aboud. I'm a junior studying psychology and French from Cleveland, Ohio, and I spent my childhood years growing up in Lebanon, my parents' country of birth. And I'm a mentor for E-Tower, Morewood, so let's hear that up. I just want to say that I'm really honored to be able to share my story with you guys today. Thank you in advance for listening to me. Great. So growing up, I lived in a house built on giving. My dad's parents were both too poor to ever get an education, and he lived with a family of 6 in a one-room house in Lebanon. So when he finally made a living for himself, he dedicated his life to giving his family everything he could never have, and he always reached out a hand to anybody in need. My mother also grew up in Lebanon, and when she was 13, she started taking care of her sick grandfather, feeding and bathing him every day for years. After my parents were married, she then spent 6 years raising me and my siblings while taking care of my dad's parents when they were sick. My entire childhood, she'd been my idol, my biggest cheerleader, and it was she who taught me how to sacrifice myself for those you love. At a young age, I completely fell in love with dedicating my own life to helping others. And it was entirely thanks to the selflessness and the generosity that my parents filled our house with. So when my mom's own health started failing, I was absolutely terrified. I was 15 when she was diagnosed with clinical depression. It honestly came out of nowhere, and my entire family was so scared, lost, and completely helpless. I saw my mother, a beautiful powerhouse of a woman, become lost and lifeless in her own world. And the scariest thing was the feeling that there was nothing I could do to make her smile and make everything go away. 6 months later, we found out the cause of her depression when she was diagnosed with stage 3 thyroid cancer. After surgery to remove her thyroid and round after round of radiation treatment, she was finally cancer-free. Unfortunately, the depression came back, and this time it was stronger than ever. I remember in my senior year, my dad and I hiding all the pill bottles in the house when she told us she was becoming suicidal. I remember waking up in the middle of the night, crying from nightmares that I would lose the one person who gave her everything to me. That was 4 years ago. In that entire time, my mom never saw me cry. I had to be strong for her and show her that her illness wasn't a burden on me, that she wasn't making me hurt more than I ever thought possible. She couldn't see how afraid or lost I felt, but I wish I could say that my mom's problems are all better, but it's still something that we're gonna have to live with every day for the rest of her life. Yet, despite her own battles, my mom continued to encourage me to find my passions whenever she could. In fact, seeing her suffer only made me that much more committed to my humanitarian work. With her and my dad behind me, I started an art charity in my high school and raised $5,000 in 2 art auctions. When I finally arrived at Carnegie Mellon, I was instantly inspired by my freshman seminar, a class on the struggles in Haiti before and after the earthquake. Within 2 months, I told my parents I wanted to host a 20-day fundraiser to raise money for a local nonprofit that works in Haiti. And on the opening night, they drove all the way out here just to be with me, just like they've always been. After that project, my classmate Laura told me how her RA Ian had traveled to Haiti with his high school. And after months of planning, we launched CMU in Haiti. A year later, this past spring break, we landed in Haiti for the first time with over $6,000 fundraised. It was absolutely an adventure that bettered my life, and I've never been more excited about going back into humanitarian work. Throughout my entire journey, I was just so touched by my parents' never-ending support. My mother's experience taught me one important lesson. You can be the most afraid you've ever been, and life can beat you down until you think that you have nothing left, but you will always survive the scariest of life's problems with the support and encouragement of those that care about you. I found that support with my very first step onto this campus. Being at Carnegie Mellon, I have the privilege to pursue my passions. I can push myself in ways that others only dream of, but that also means the risk of failure and disappointment. But in my 2 years here, I have never once had to face the fear of failure alone. Carnegie Mellon University has absolutely been my life's greatest journey. It challenges me every day to be the best version of myself that I can become, and it pushes me to break my limits, but always gives me the strength I need to succeed. Carnegie Mellon is exactly where I need to be. Standing here, I get to look at you, class of 2018 plus, and I see the next generation of an amazing community, one that I can count on to make my adventure as incredible as it has been for these past 2 years. When it gets hard here, and trust me, it will get hard, I've learned to never be afraid. I hope you all learn that as well in your years at Carnegie Mellon. Thank you.
Hello. All right, in the moment. Hi, my name is Christina Graham, and I'm a senior studying psychology and professional writing. I grew up with a single mom, and she always taught me to be independent, become my own person, and to always empower others to do the same. Coming to college, I didn't know how to empower others when I couldn't even get my feet on the ground during the whirlwind that is first semester. I didn't know who to help, how to teach, who to teach, or really just be anywhere with anyone. And I'm going nuts because I'm like, I came here for psychology, I just want to help somebody. But my adventure with Greek life taught me that you don't always have to have your feet on the ground, and that there will always be opportunities to teach and help others, but there will also be opportunities to learn. So in your adventure here at CMU, I ask that you don't forget to always let others teach, inspire, and change you, while you always empower others to do the same.
Hello everyone, we are Lambda Phi Epsilon fraternity.
And Alpha Kappa Delta Phi sorority, and we're two of the international Asian interest groups here on CMU's campus, representing the Multicultural Greek Council.
I just want to do a quick intro of everyone on the stage. The Polish giant over there, that's Duda. That's Mahir, Austin, Sissy, Jonathan, and my name is Brian.
And I'm Isabella.
We have a short step routine for you all today, so hope you guys enjoy.
Let's get this started, baby! On behalf of Multicultural Greek Council, welcome to Carnegie Mellon!
In the moment, when I first stepped on the CMU campus, I was scared by uncertainty and intimidated by all of the excellence. I wanted to make an impact on campus. I didn't really know what that meant, but people said that enough, so I wanted to do it. But what really helped me concretize the ideas I had was the support that I had from my friends. I can personally guarantee that there are people on this campus who support you and believe in you in all of your endeavors. Who knows? You might be able to finally start up that startup that you've been thinking about for years. Or maybe take a trip to Haiti with a bunch of friends that you've just met. Or maybe even start your own lecture series. Because the entire campus is waiting for you to explore it. And after all, what's an adventure without your friends?
Make every minute perfect, right? It's for our show. Watch this. I done been around the world, I done kissed a lot of girls, so I'm guessing that it's true. Make me holler and I bet $1 million. Don't nobody kiss it like you. Don't nobody kiss it like you. Don't nobody kiss it like you. Bang, bang, bang. Don't nobody kiss it like you. Don't nobody kiss it like you. It's 5 in the morning, she's rolling while she making stinking eggs. Yeah. At 5 in the morning, we can only be about to do one thing. See, I told her the devil is a lie. Them other girls can't compete with mine. You do it so good, you fuck my mind. You put it out, then you open mine. You make me want to tap out every time.
are CMU Bhangra. We're another dance group. We're another dance group on this campus. We perform a style from northern India. It's touched a lot of people around the United States, and we've competed all over the country and internationally. Let's just get to it. Sit back, relax, enjoy.
Mellon.
Getting shivers because I was having flashbacks to 3 years ago when I saw that for the first time, and I was like, what is this? They're crazy, but like, you'll see them all over, they're amazing. So that was the end of our show, and we really hope that you've enjoyed getting a glimpse of what community life is like here at Carnegie Mellon. And we hope that you have a better idea about what diversity is like here at Carnegie Mellon. Today you've just seen a small portion of the vast diversity and the unique personalities that make up Carnegie Mellon. So first off, I'd like to thank all of the performers and speakers for sharing their talents and reflections. I'd also like to say a special thank you to AB Tech and cmuTV for the great contributions to the success of our event. Also, a shout out to Miss M. Chanel Smith for all of her hard work. She's absolutely the driving force between this performance every year, and she does a fantastic job. And lastly, I want to take a moment to recognize probably the most important people in this room, you. You are here to join in the adventures that everyone that has shared this stage have had. Now, I'm not to say that you haven't achieved a lot on your way here, because if you hadn't, you probably wouldn't be here, so congratulations on all of that. But I hope that you take this as an opportunity to sort of spark some interest, and I challenge you to find what CMU has to offer that really relates to you. I hope you may have seen that on stage tonight, and even if you haven't, I promise you there's something here for you. So I challenge you to share your stories, get connected, and find out how to make the Carnegie Mellon adventure your own. Thank you. And to finish off this event, we will have some more bagpipes, as is tradition in Carnegie Mellon.